What's up, everyone? If you're heading to Cornell this fall, welcome to Ithaca. You're probably packing right now, looking at a ton of different packing lists, and they all say the same thing. Bring sheets, bring towels, bring clothes. But these are the things that people actually end up bringing all the time and wish they had packed from day one. So get ready. So, number one, a mattress pad. I cannot stress this enough. The dorm mattresses are, well, they're dorm mattresses. A good mattress pad or topper generally makes a huge difference in your sleep, and trust me, you're going to appreciate it after a late night of studying or hanging out with friends. The dorm mattresses actually have a firm and a soft side. I didn't know this until I was moving out and I finally looked at the mattress. I just put my mattress topper on, but I slept on it for one night without the pad, and putting that pad on really helped. The only thing I'd be worried about is if you have never used a mattress pad before, I would not go for a super thick one, like a 4-inch one, just because your body might not find it comfortable. So I'd start small with maybe a 1 or a 2-inch and then go from there on comfort. But yeah, stress a mattress pad. It literally will make or break your college experience. Number two, a fan, especially if you're moving in to a dorm that does not have AC in August. Even though it is in the Northeast, it is still warm. Most dorms that don't have air conditioning will have air conditioning in communal spaces, so not everywhere is not air conditioned, but your room will not be air conditioned in those ones. And it's going to be warm for a few weeks. Having a fan is really nice just because it gets air moving. At night, it cools down so you can open your windows and let some air circulate. But having that fan on throughout the day just really helps keep the air moving, and really just helps with sleep and whatever else. It also helps with white noise if you don't like sleeping in silence. Personally, I hate sleeping in silence, so having that fan is really helpful. It doesn't need to be super expensive, doesn't need to be at the top end. I think mine was like $30 off of Amazon, but there's cheaper ones or more expensive ones, depending on the needs. So yeah, fan is really important. Number three, a bathroom caddy. If you have communal bathrooms, which most of the dorms do, you're carrying your stuff back and forth every single day. Get something that's easy to carry and quick drying. Your future self will thank you. I got one from Target. I think it was maybe $10. It's just a little caddy, and I just took it back and forth. Luckily, my bathroom was only 2 doors down, so it was very quick, but even I didn't want to walk back and forth. So the people who have to walk like 10 doors down definitely don't want to walk back and forth every time they need something. And this leads me into my number 4, which is travel soap containers. This sounds kind of random, but having these small containers for shampoo, body wash, conditioner, helps keep everything organized, prevents leaks, and it's just a lot easier to use in the shower instead of having to carry big bottles with you, because I chose to get bigger bottles to save money first off, and then I knew I was going to get these little things, and they last me all year, and they're just little plastic things. They were like $5. Totally recommend. It also helps you like budget how much you're using, so you can see, oh, I've gone through a lot more body wash this year or this month than I did last month. So you kind of just like gauge stuff. But yeah, I would recommend those. You don't need them. Some people will probably hate them, but you have to refill them every few weeks, which is a downside. But personally, for me, it didn't really matter. Okay, number 5 is a shoe rack and a drip tray. So these go hand in hand. Ithaca weather is no joke. It rains, it snows, it's slush. Your shoes are wet. They salt the pathways, but the salt gets onto your boots and onto your shoes, and it just gets caked on there. So having a shoe rack first keeps the shoes that you're not wearing in the winter out of the way, and the drip pan will save your floor, especially if you're not on a carpet floor. You're going to see all that sand, all that salt, and it's just going to get everywhere, or the water's just going to drip and it's just going to kind of flow off. So just having that drip tray is really good. I'll show a photo of the one I have up here, but there's so many and they're not very expensive, so definitely recommend that. Number 6, a surge protector. Dorm rooms never have enough outlets. It doesn't matter where you are, you have more stuff to plug in than outlets. So you have your laptop, your phone, your fan, your speaker, and probably several other things plugged in at once. If you have lighting, that also has to be plugged in. Get one with a long cord. A short cord isn't going to do you much when you have to reach across the room. I would go for one that has more outlets than you think you would need. I'll show a photo of the one I have right over here. But don't get extension cords. Those aren't allowed. They have to be a surge protector. You either say that on the thing, or it will be pretty obvious to tell because they'll have a switch turned on and off. But get one, maybe get 2 if you really think you have that much stuff to plug in. It's just really helpful in the long run. Number 7 is under the bed storage. So most dorms have lofted beds, depending on if you're in a double, a single. There is different room configurations, but most often you will have a lofted bed, especially in the doubles. In the triples, you might not, and the quads probably not either. But having space under the bed is going to be one of your biggest ways to maximize your room. Personally, I had a 3 drawer storage. I actually got 2 of them. I'll show a photo up here, but the dorm rooms are small and using every inch of space matters. Using the space under your bed is a really good way to kind of put things that are maybe out of season, just such as your summer clothes or your winter clothes when it's still hot out. A shelf or a holder for your phone. This seems like a tiny thing, but if your bed's lofted, you're going to quickly realize there's nowhere to put your phone, water bottle, glasses, your watch. So just having a bedside shelf becomes a really useful item. I even have my desk behind my bed, and I still liked having my shelf to put my surge projector, but just having that space is really helpful. Number 9 is laundry sheets. So they're lightweight, they don't spill everywhere, and they take up almost no space. And they aren't as heavy. They're not like carrying a giant bottle of detergent around your dorm. Personally, for me, my dorm room was on the top floor and the laundry was on the bottom floor, and I did not want to carry more than I had to. So definitely recommend getting laundry sheets. They're super easy, super cheap. You just drop them in the washing machine and they do their job. That leads me to my number 10, which is a laundry bag. So get something that is durable. You're going to be hauling laundry around more than you think. I even got one for my clothes once they came out of the dryer, just so it was separate, because my laundry bag could get dirty if there were dirty like clothes that had some stuff on them if I did something outdoors or something. It was nice to have 2 separate things, but obviously you don't need them if you keep pretty clean. But yeah, definitely invest in a laundry bag. It's just helpful. Some people have the ones on wheels. There's so many. Pick which one you think you will use best. I tried one with the strap and it worked fine. Number 11 is a storage ottoman or a step stool. It works double duty, extra storage, and a step stool if your bed is lofted. It also becomes extra seating when you have friends over, so having that little extra space is really nice. My bed was lofted. I could jump into it, but it was nice to have a little step to just hop on up, especially when I was getting out of bed at night and I didn't need to turn on the lights or my roommate was asleep. It was nice to be able to just like step on it and go to the bathroom or whatever. And that leads me to number 12. So this is just a speaker. It's nice for the showers. It's nice if you're in your room and you just want to listen to some music. That's really all I want to say about speakers. If you like them, you like them. If you don't buy it. Number 13 is a vacuum and cleaning supplies. So people underestimate how dirty your dorm room can get. Even if you are a clean person, there are going to be crumbs, there is going to be dust forming. So just having things like disinfectant wipes, paper towels, I had microfiber cloths to get the dust off of my stuff, and maybe in a small vacuum. You don't need one. There are communal ones. Personally, I got my own vacuum and used it to vacuum the room, but just having these things is really helpful, especially paper towels, because the dorm has the cheap ones that you can use for like putting food on and stuff, but besides that, I wouldn't say they're very high end and they really don't clean up spills too well. So just having your own, if you'd like, is really helpful. Also getting like a scrub brush for your dirty dishes and like soap. It doesn't need to be a big bottle. I probably use like this much of my soap. But yeah, just things to consider. Number 14 is medicine. So this is a huge one. At Cornell, it is not really an if you're going to get sick, it is a when you're going to get sick. There are so many people, and even though Cornell is such a big campus and there's a lot of stuff to do outside and distance from people, in your lectures, people will be coughing. Once the sickness starts, when it literally starts like the second week, people are going to be coughing, people are going to have runny noses, people are going to be sneezing. It's just not a very sanitary space at all times. So bring medication, bring Dayquil, bring NyQuil, bring cough drops, bring ibuprofen, tissues, get boxes of tissues, get the little packets you can put in your backpack so you don't have to carry around too much, a thermometer so you can see if you have a fever, and start taking vitamin C supplements or I take the gummies, like 2 a day, and they help to build up your immune system so the sickness isn't as bad. These are all things that will just help when you do get sick, because trust me, you don't want your first trip to the store to be when you're sick and walking around campus. The good thing about Cornell is there is Cornell Health on Central Campus, which is where all your classes will be. So that is an option if you are feeling really ill and you're like, I need to go get checked out by a doctor. This is worse than I thought it'd be. There is that option. So you do have health resources very nearby. But yeah, just getting this stuff before the semester starts is really just a way to prevent you having to do it on your own, especially if it's the weekend and the bus isn't running, or you don't want to get an Uber. Just so many things could happen, or you're just really ill and you do not want to leave your bed. That is another thing. You have this medication, you can take it. Just be safe with whatever you're taking. Number 15, lighting. Dorm lighting is either extremely bright or somehow not bright enough. Right now I'm using my lamp in my room, but you can get LED strips, warm lighting, desk lamps, pretty much anything that will change the feel of your room and make it more like a home. some of the lighting's very industrial, and it doesn't give the best space for relaxing, I would say, because it's just so bright sometimes, and you're just like, I need something that I can adjust. So having a nice like adjustable lamp or something is really a must, especially with the weather and the changing in the season. Just having something that's constant that can bring you a little bit of like grounding yourself, especially when you're studying late at night. Just something to keep you a little bit grounded is really nice. So I definitely recommend getting some type of lighting. Obviously, there's certain things you can't have, like you probably shouldn't hang up Christmas lights unless it's plugged in a power surge protector, not a power strip. Those are bad. But yeah, just be reasonable about it. I had like a neon light that I really liked, and it really helped me. So don't get anything crazy. You can't have candles, so don't buy a bunch of candles because those are a fire hazard, and you're not supposed to have those. But if you want like incense, those are really nice. They can just plug into the wall. But yeah, lighting, anything to like help you ground yourself in your room is really nice and make it just feel like a home. Last one is number 16, and this is a humidifier. This one depends on your dorm, but Ithaca winters plus dorm heat can make the air incredibly dry. A humidifier can make sleeping more comfortable, and honestly, might help you with your throat if you have sinus issues when you're feeling sick all winter. Not that you'll get sick all winter, but like, yeah, things happen. Seasonal depression and all that, but it just helps to have some like nicer air. I'd also recommend an air purifier if you have the money. Obviously, it's not something you need. A lot of the dorms have very good air, just some of them you might feel it's a little bit stuffy at times. But getting that humidifier will help with things such as nosebleeds if you get them pretty often, which I got for a few weeks, but then they like stopped, so that was good. But just having that humidifier, especially when the radiator's on in your room, especially in the older ones, it does make the air really dry. Okay, number 17. I was going to include this, but get shower shoes. Communal bathrooms can get very dirty. Even if you're only sharing it with a few people, things will happen in the shower. People will get sick. People will throw up. I don't know. Anything happens in the bathroom. Just get shower shoes. They're very cheap. Don't risk getting an infection because you don't want to wear them. You'll get used to it after a few weeks or a few days even. Just get them. You don't want to get fungus on your feet. You don't want to be walking around 20K steps every day with some type of bacterial infection. So get your shower shoes. And that wraps up my video. So those are some of the most underrated dorm items that people don't always tell you to bring. None of them are super flashy items, but there are little things that make dorm life so much easier. So if you're an upperclassman, drop your most underrated dorm item below because I guarantee there's something I'm missing. And if you're an incoming freshman and would like a list of things to avoid bringing as well, let me know in the comments. So good luck, enjoy move-in. I will be posting more content, so get ready and welcome to Cornell.